Hello students, I am Raghavendra Kumar Singh, faculty of US Academy and Institute. Today we will discuss class 7th Civics 5th chapter Women Changes the World. Women have been facing inequalities at every step. By getting an education, women have got opportunities to rise in every field. Women's movement has risen to challenge discrimination in all parts of the world. In this chapter, we will discuss about the changes which women has made. Means how women struggle for their equalities. Getting an education was and still is one way through which women can create new opportunities for them, and also describe the different types of efforts made by the women, such as movements to challenge discrimination in more recent years. Now, fewer opportunities and rigid expectation. A lot of people feel that women are fit only for certain kind of jobs. As a nurse, they are not fit for technical jobs. In most families, women are taught that after school they have to get married. Lakshmi Lakra, however, broke this stereotype image when she became the first woman engine driver of the Northern Railway. We live in a society full of pressure of boys do not work hard and get a good salary. They are bullied. There are many stereotypes that exist in our society, such as girls and women are not capable of dealing with technical things. Due to these stereotypes, many girls do not get the same support that boys get. Now, learning for change. Going to school is an important part of life. Today, it is difficult for us to imagine that school and learning could be seen as out of bounds or not appropriate for some children. In the past, very few people learned reading and writing. Most children learned the work their families or elders did. Even in families where skills like pottery, weaving, and craft were taught, the contribution of the daughters and women was seen as secondary. In the 19th century, new ideas about learning and education appeared, but there was a lot of opposition to educating girls over them. In the 1890s, Ramabai championed the cause of women's education. Ruqayya Sekhawat Hussain learned English from her elder brother and an elder sister in spite of family opposition, and went on to become a famous writer. Ras Sundari Devi of Bengal was the first Indian woman to write an autobiography called Amar Jeevan. So many new ideas about education and learning emerged. Schools became more common, and communities that had never learned reading and writing started sending their children to school. But there was a lot of opposition to education of girls. At that time, it was believed that if a woman learned to read and write, she would bring back bad luck to her husband and become a widow. Despite this, she taught herself how to read and write in secret well after her marriage. Now, schooling and education today. Today, both boys and girls attend school in large numbers. The difference in their education still remain. Today, education is the right of both boys and girls, despite that only 50% of girls receive an education. India has a census every 10 years which counts the population of the country. This information is used to measure things like literacy, sex ratio, etc. The huge number of SC and ST children leave school at an early age. The 2014 census even shows that Muslim girls are less likely than Dalit girls to complete primary education. Many reasons like non-availability of teachers and schools, lack of transport, cost of education, indifferent attitudes of teacher and parents are responsible for the negligible or negligence of education. In rural and poor areas, there are neither proper school nor teachers. Schools are often far away from people's home and there is no transport like buses or vans available for girls. So parents are not willing to send their girls to school. Many families are poor and unable to bear the cost of education all their children. In this situation, boys get preference. Many children face discrimination for their teachers and classmates. Now, women's movement. Women have individually and collectively struggled to bring about changes. This is called the women's movement. Different strategies have been used to spread awareness, fight discrimination, and seek justice. These movements are related to campaigning, raising awareness, protesting, and showing solidarity. Men and women in society are looked upon as playing specific gender roles. Women have been facing inequalities at every step since the immemorial. No doubt their position and status have been improved with the changes of time. Still, they lag behind men in almost every field. In this male-dominated society, they fail to avail equal privilege and opportunities. It has also been seen that some occupations are considered to be more suitable for men than for women. It means women are good at only certain jobs. Their situation has improved in other spheres like legal reforms, violence, and health. Women individually and collectively have struggled a lot to bring these changes. This struggle is known as women's movement. Different strategies have been used to spread awareness, fight discrimination, and seek justice for women. Here are some glimpses of this struggle. Campaigning. An important part of women's movement was campaign. Campaigns have led to the making of new laws. A law was implemented in 2006 against domestic violence, which states that women who face physical and mental violence within their homes will get some legal protection. The Supreme Court formulated guidelines in 1997 to protect women against sexual harassment at the workplace and within education institutions. The dowry law were changed to punish families who seek dowry. Many people believe that women make better nurses because they are more patient and gentle. It is also believed that women do not bear technical mind and therefore they are not capable of dealing with technical things. Thus, they have been stereotyped as a good nurses, good teacher, etc. They are never seen as army officer, pilot, railway engine driver, etc. The majority of Indian believes in these stereotypes. It is therefore girls do not get the same support that boys do to study and train to become doctors and engineers. Today, women have become very aware. They are determined to break these stereotypes by excelling them in field which were considered male preserves till now. We have now women pilots, engineers, police officers, scientists, etc. We can mention here the name of Lakshmi Lakra, who by becoming an engine driver showed the world that women can do everything. Children, especially boys, are under great pressure. They are pressurized to think about getting a job that will pay a good salary. It is a matter of great anxiety for the parents if their son shows his inclination towards studying subjects other than science or math. In our present social setup, parents have developed a false belief that only science and maths are meaningful subjects. Only these subjects can make their sons' future secured. These notions have no base. They must be eliminated from their mind. Subjects like history, political science, etc. are also job oriented. One positive change that is visible today is that more and more children have started going to school. In the past, the skill of reading and writing was known to only a few. Most children learned the work their families or elders did. But girls faced the even worse situation. In communities that taught sons to read and write, daughters were not allowed to learn the alphabets. Slowly and steadily, there came more and more positive changes. The communities that never learned reading and writing started sending their children to school. In the beginning, there was a lot of opposition for education of girls' child, but there was also women and men who made effort to open schools for girls. Women struggled to learn to read and write. Here, the experience of Rasa Sundari Devi in 18 to 1890 is worth mentioning. She was a housewife from a rich landlord family at that time. It was believed that if a woman learned to read and write, she would become a widow. Despite this, she taught herself how to read and write in secret after her marriage. She wrote her autobiography in Bangla, which titled Amar Jaban. No doubt more and more girls have started attending school. Still they lag behind boys. As per the most recent census of 2001, 76% of boys and men are literate, but the figure is comparatively very low in case of girls. Only 54% of girls and women are literate in India. Thus, the percentage of the male group is higher than the female group. The position and the status of women have undoubtedly improved a lot, which is due to the collective effort of the women of the country. Women movement also gets the support of men. They used different strategies to spread awareness, fight discrimination, and seek justice. For example, they organize campaigns to fight discrimination and violence against women. They also protest when violation against women take place. Women's movement also shows solidarity with other women and causes. Now, showing solidarity. The women's movement is also about showing unity with other movements and causes.